Welcome to our first Women in Computer Science chat for 2022. So for January we're joined by Sophie, and Sophie's doing a PhD in the Computer Science department here at UCL, and she's part of the Manifold Lab within the Centre for Medical Image Computing. Hello Sophie. Nice to see you guys. Well, you're hoping to start with, you could give us a very brief but not too technical idea of what your PhD is in.
Yeah, okay, so I'm doing deep learning for dementia prediction. So my lab focuses on kind of what happens to the brain as people get older and brain age, and just kind of like healthy aging and what is considered normal aging. And my research is focusing on kind of not so normal aging and what happens when people develop dementia, and whether you can use, imaging to predict it earlier.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Right.
Yeah. What does healthy aging look like?
I think that's part of the difficulty, is that everybody's different, everybody's brains are different, and it's hard to work out sometimes whether what looks like someone might have dementia, whether that's just kind of normal aging or whether it is actually an underlying disease causing.
Do you mostly look at sort of the MRI scans and the images as opposed to the pathology then? So it's how can the scans help us determine?
Exactly, yeah. So my research focuses on imaging data and seeing if you can kind of use neural networks to predict from that.
Neural networks, big
first topic. I know, like really, everything's like machine learning and stuff at the moment. But more importantly, my research focuses on the clinical translation of these techniques, and we really want to see if we can help with the interpretability of the neural networks, and actually get these tools used in the clinic, because at the moment it's really difficult to actually know whether to trust.
Yeah, it's this big black box of the neural network.
Exactly.
Do we trust what it's doing?
Exactly. That's the gist.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you started your PhD during the pandemic, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's weird because I have nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
So it feels like, okay, everything's great, and I have no.
It's like your personal perception of normal, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I started my first year of PhD was normal, like before pandemic, and then I felt a lot the difference in between before and after in my work and like my motivation and like kind of more mental health kind of related issues. And we were wondering if you have felt any kind of support from UCL, your peers, your supervisors, regarding this weird new situations that we are in right now, and your PhD work.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I definitely think as a lab group we've been quite good at supporting each other. Like sometimes taking our weekly meetings as space to just reflect on how we were feeling. Like actually, I think it was last week I gave my kind of 2021 year in review. I just talked about like my highs and lows last year. We do that kind of stuff in the lab, and I think it's quite nice to just have somewhere to kind of share my feelings with people going through the same thing. So definitely, like the people that I'm around is what I'd say I'd get most support from. Yeah,
that's really nice. Do you feel like you're able to share pros and cons?
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm quite honest about how I felt last year and some stresses I had, and also with regards to COVID, like the work from home situation. A lot of us felt that brought on a lot of anxiety, and
absolutely.
I said I definitely struggled, like not having stability. I'd rather either stay at home completely or come into work and just like have a base somewhere.
Yeah.
The flexi thing can be tricky for me because my brain's like switching.
I understand.
Yeah.
Me too.
It's hard. I can't do it. So like now I'm thinking, okay, if I'm going to start coming in, I'm going to make it permanent, hopefully.
Yeah. Are you coming in every day now, or?
I don't know. When we can, like I would like to come in.
Yeah.
semi-regular, as regularly as possible, so it doesn't feel so traumatic and turbulent.
Yeah, I understand. I feel like PhDs outside of COVID are so be quite isolating, right? It's very much you working as an individual, and you're meant to be driven by your individual goals. So I guess I feel like this is all exacerbated, right? Through COVID.
100%.
But it sounds like your group's really supportive.
The group's supportive, and I think like just being around people in the office has been really nice since I've started coming back. I definitely like having people around, and when I'm working at home, it's just me in my room, so it's a bit quiet.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I feel like when you just sat there and you haven't spoken to anyone, it's like.
Yeah, I totally get the flexibility thing. For me, it's just like if I stay at home, I feel a bit guilty for not going to the office. But like at the same time, it's like I want to stay at home. Being at the office also is like a bit hard. Like it tires me more than it used to. Just the fact of like going outside and coming back, and it's like getting like very dark very early, and all these things. It's like it's this constant kind of having to decide and
Exactly.
that
It's
is
not chosen for you.
Exactly.
It's like a new decision to make.
It is for you.
I think that's really interesting actually, because I feel like a lot of discussion about this increase of flexibility of work post-pandemic, not even just in an academic sense, but in all terms of how we work as humans. It's very much promoted as a positive. But do you think it's actually like this sort of like burden of decision, which should burden you have before?
I do think, I mean, it is a new decision, and I think you then, like you were saying, I think you start feeling perhaps things that by choosing to go into work, you're leaving certain things behind at home, and like you're now conscious of what you're prioritizing at mind. Like, okay, am I prioritizing my mental health, or am I prioritizing like my work efficiency? And then it's like, okay, if I stay at home too much, I'm not getting enough exercise, so that gets me really conscious about needing to go in. And so there's just a lot of like things you're thinking about all the time.
I think it has like both positive and negative things as we've been mentioning. It's a matter of adapting ourselves to this new situation and flexibility. I think we just need this time to actually feel it. With this all new ways of working, how do we feel? How do we fit ourselves in there? And then hopefully it would just get more natural.
Yeah,
I hope so. On to a slightly lighter topic.
Okay.
What do you do to relax, Sophie, when you've worked at home all day, it's been a really relaxing day, or a really stressful day? What do you?
More likely the second one. I think it changes all the time. It depends what mood I'm in at that state. Sometimes the most relaxing thing I can do is actually like exercising, because it's just completely shifting my focus to something different. And I do find that with work and stuff in general, I can get quite like bogged down and kind of like tunnel vision. So I really need to do something that's completely like taking my mind off it. So that could be exercising. Sometimes it's literally like watching really trash TV, where I can just absolutely. It sounds terrible, but like I'm just disconnecting, and you're just kind of like absorbing all this information, and feel like to and like watch their own episode.
I understand this very well. My favourite thing to do is put on like a really shitty rom-com, like something I'd never really actively choose to watch, but then it's like
it's like a bubble, and you just like escape.
What's your favourite?
So we wanted to ask you, as a kind of first year PhD student, if you had anything you would like to say to all these women who are now considering whether to do a PhD in computer science, and like the pros and the cons, or like things that you have to say, oh, you should look up for this, any advice or any like good things as well. Like if you would like to say something.
Good for you. I think that I would say, based on my experience anyway, I think one thing I do appreciate is just kind of making the most of the space you're in, because I feel like even with undergrad and different places I've worked and stuff during internships and stuff, you can spend a lot of time kind of finding holes and finding gaps and finding like almost problems, and on reflection I wish I kind of paused more and just kind of focused on the positive things of like what I was around and people I did connect with, rather than ways I didn't connect with people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's important to kind of be aware of all of the opportunity that's around and absorb people's differences as well.
So I guess focus on the positives rather than just the negatives. Don't get bogged down in things.
Yeah. But I think it's hard because I was talking about this with a friend actually, but just sometimes I think when you're in a space, you can also have different parts of your personality that you're dimming in different setting. And we were just talking about like trying to be authentically yourself at all times, like all aspects of your personality. And I had this conversation before about like even in a workplace or academic setting like this, it might be you're giving a presentation and you don't want to come across a certain way because you think it's going to be less professional, and that's something I'm really consciously trying to like ignore the voice in my head that says don't make this slide look too girly or put pink everywhere. We were just like, why is that a thing? Do you know what I mean? It shouldn't be seen as less scientific just because I've got fancy like fonts or whatever.
I feel it's this whole we have to be aware of how much we're trying to like adapt to like a way of like very
to fit in this mold.
It's a very white male environment, let's say, and we're adapting to it, but maybe we should be thinking about making them adapt to us.
This is exactly what it is. I'm like, why should I hide certain things? If anything, I want to talk about it more to force people to kind of like learn about other people's kind of interests.
Absolutely, we should.
Like we shouldn't be adapting to like a model of working that is like a model of work that's not working.
We know it's right?
So we should be co-creating a new thing. And that's a bit more complicated, but it's worth it.
I think it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Okay, Sophie, it was really nice to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
It's a good chat. Thank you very much.
And thanks you guys for organising these series.